Hello, good morning to all. I am Khaja Asifullah from Government Degree College, Palaknuma, Hyderabad. Today, I will present a lesson on chemical kinetics. It is the fifth lesson in the series, or part 5 of chemical kinetics. Earlier, we discussed about the rate of the reaction, molecularity of reaction, order of reaction, and also we derived equation for rate constant of zero order as well as for first order reaction. Today, we will try to derive a rate equation for the rate constant K for third order reaction. So, first we should know what is a third order reaction. A third order reaction is that reaction in which concentration of three molecules changes during the reaction. These three molecules may be of the same reactant or of three different reactants, or whatever be the case, which we will discuss now with examples. So these are of three types. First, all three molecules are of same reactant which produce product. So 3A gives product. Here reactant is A and three molecules are involved. In second case, we have two reactants A and B which produce product in which two molecules of A and one molecule of B are involved. In the third case, all three molecules are of different reactants A, B, and C, which produces product. Of these three, the simplest one is the first case in which A produces product and all three molecules involved are of reactant A only. So we will first take that situation where all three molecules are of same reactant. So we are dealing with equation 3A gives product. Let us assume that the initial concentration of reactant A is A moles per liter. Remember, A moles per liter is the initial concentration of reactant A. Of this, at a time t is equal to t seconds, X moles of reactant A are consumed. So what is the left out concentration or amount of A? It will be A minus X. So at a time t is equal to t seconds, the amount of A left is A minus X moles per liter. Now, we need an equation. For that, first we have to write the rate of reaction. Rate of reaction is directly proportional to the cube of the concentration of A which is left over are dx by dt proportional to A minus x whole to the power 3, where dx by dt is the rate of reaction, and dx here denotes infinitesimally small change in concentration, and dt is infinitesimally small change in time. A minus x is the leftover amount of reactant A. Now we need to remove this proportionality constant, proportionality sign, so that this expression becomes an equation. Rate dx by dt will be equal to k into A minus x whole to the power 3. Now we will integrate this equation. So before integration, we have to rearrange the terms in this equation so that one terms belonging to one quantity comes to one side, and of that other comes to other side. Here dt is change in time, so we are bringing it to right side. It will give you k dt, and A minus x raised to the power 3 is concentration term, therefore we are bringing here. So it becomes dx by A minus x whole to the power 3 is equal to k dt. Integrating the equation, this is the symbol for integration, and we are integrating the equation on both sides. So we have to write this symbol on both sides. Now this is concentration term and this is for time. Now this has a constant, so we can bring this constant before the sign so that we can integrate only dt. So we can write k integration dt. Now we will integrate concentration between the limits of C0 to C, that is initial to final. That means C is equal to 0 is initial concentration of reactant A, whereas C is the concentration of A at time t. And time limits are time t is equal to 0 to time t is equal to t. So the result of this integration will be like this. Kt is equal to 1 by 2 into x into 2a minus x divided by a square into a minus raised to the power 2. We need only rate constant, that means the equation to find rate constant. So we can send this time t to right side. It will give you the final equation for k, which is like this: 1 by 2t into x into 2a minus x divided by a square into a minus x whole square. Now here we can remember the formula of integration of dt. When we integrate this, we get t. Therefore, this is k into t, kt. Whereas dx by x will give you x square. Anyway, this is the final equation. By using this equation, we can calculate the rate constant for third order reaction in which 3 molecules of same reactants are involved. Second case, let us take second case in which concentration of 2 reactants are involved and Here, reactant A plus reactant B reacts to give product, but here 2 molecules of A are involved with 1 molecule of B. So totally 3 molecules are changed in concentration of 3 molecules, but the situation is like this, 2 molecules of A. Now, in similar fashion as we did here, we integrate, first we write the rate equation, that is rate proportional to the concentration, then a change in concentration, then we will rearrange the terms. On one side, we will take the concentration term, other side we take time, then integrate. So we finally get K value, or the equation for K, which is K is equal to 1 by T into A minus 2B whole square into 2x into 2B minus A divided by A into A minus 2x plus log B into A minus 2x by A minus Bx. Using this equation, we can calculate the rate constant of second order reaction in which 2 reactants are involved, where A and B are the initial concentrations of reactant A and reactant B, and amount of A and B consumed at T time or time T is X moles per liter. Then the remaining amount of A and B are A minus X and B minus X. Therefore, these are 2 important terms. A minus X gives the change in concentration of reactant A, and B minus X will give you change in concentration of reactant B. Now the third case, in which 3 reactants are involved, that is A plus B plus C gives product, but only 1 molecule of each reactant is involved. Therefore, totally 3 molecules, 1 plus 1 plus 1, 3 molecules of A, B, C produces product. Again, we have to write the rate equation, in which rate is equal to change in concentration of with respect to time. Then after integrating that, we will get a complicated equation for K, that is rate constant for third order, in which 3 different reactants are involved. And the equation is K is equal to 1 by T into B minus C into ln A minus X by A plus C minus A ln B minus X by B plus A minus B into ln C minus X by C whole divided by A minus B into B minus C into C minus A, where A, B, and C are the initial concentrations of reactant A, reactant B, and reactant C. And the amount of A, B, and C, reactant A, B, and C, which are consumed at time T is X moles per liter. Then the amount of A, B, and C which are left after time T is A minus X, B minus X, and C minus X moles per liter. Now, the characteristics of third order reaction. First, we will consider the units of rate constant. K. From the equation, here we discuss 3 different types of third order reaction, First 3A gives product, second 2A plus B gives product, 3 or third A plus B plus C gives product. We have this for first one, that is 3 molecules of A produces product. Now here K is equal to 1 by 2T into X into 2A minus X by A square into A minus X whole square. Why we are taking this equation? Because from this equation we can calculate the value of K, that is rate constant for third order reaction. And to derive units, we need this equation. 1 by T means 1 by time, and this is concentration term, and there are two terms. X represent concentration which is consumed, that is the rate, concentration of reactant consumed, and this is the concentration which is left. So concentration into concentration. Here square of concentrations, two terms again. So concentration square, again concentration square. Here concentration into concentration means concentration square. These two will get cancelled and we will get K is equal to 1 by time into 1 by concentration square. K is equal to 1 by time into 1 by concentration square. 1 by time can be written as time inverse, and square of concentration can be written as concentration raised to the power minus 2. And the units of time are second, and unit of concentration are moles per liter. Sorry. Here we will write therefore the units for K are per second, mole to raised to the power minus 2, and liter raised to the power 2. Second one is half-life period. Generally, half-life period is represented by T half, and we are trying to find the equation for half-life period of third order reaction. What is the half-life period? The time required to convert half of the initial concentration of the reactants into product. So T half is nothing but the time period which is required to convert half of the concentration. So we need the equation again, rate equation. K is equal to 1 by 2T into X into 2A minus X by A square into A minus X whole square. Here we can write half of initial concentration. Why? According to definition of half-life period, it is nothing but the period or time required to convert half of the reactants. Means if A is the initial concentration, half of A is A by 2. So in that way, if you write half A or 0.5 A and T as T1 by 2 in the above equation, we will arrive at this T half is equal to K by A square. T half is equal to 1 by A, K by A square. Because K is constant, therefore T half is proportional to 1 by A square. Hence, the half-life period of a third order reaction is inversely proportional to the square of the initial concentration of the reactants. T half is equal to K by A square, which gives you inverse proportionality. And we can say the half-life period of a third order reaction is inversely proportional to the square of the initial concentration of the reactants. Why? because A is the initial concentration of the reactant. Few examples which follow third order reaction. First is reduction of FeCl3 by SnCl2. FeCl3 means ferric chloride. Here Fe is in +3 oxidation state. Our oxidation state of Fe is +3. When it reacts with this SnCl2, it becomes FeCl2, in which it is in a +2 oxidation state. Oxidation state of Fe is +2. So it is from +3 state to +2, means 1 electron it gains. 1 electron is gained. Therefore, it is reduced. So it is reduction of iron, which follow third order reaction. Similarly, reactions of O2, Cl2, etc. follow third order reaction. For example, 2NO plus O2 gives you 2NO2, or ozone reacts with 2NO plus O3 gives you N2O5. All these reactions follow the third order. Now, let us consider the methods to determine the order of reaction. So, these are the methods of determining order of a reaction. There are different methods by which we can determine the rate of reaction. First is order of reaction. How to determine the order of reaction. Now, it is clear that velocity constant cannot be calculated until the order of reaction is known. For every different type of order of reaction, we have different equation. Therefore, now it is clear to us that the velocity constant or rate constant cannot be calculated until the order of reaction is fixed. Means we know about the order of reaction of a particular reaction, by which order the reaction will proceed. Order of reaction can be determined by using one of the following methods. To determine the order of reaction, we have different methods. First one is integration method or trial method. This method consists in carrying out the reaction with known quantities of reactants and determining the amount of reactants consumed after different intervals of time. This is a lengthier process, but it is an experimental one, in which we allow the reactants to mix and then to start the reaction. And when we mix the reactants, we will decide after how many seconds or minutes we will check the concentration, how much concentration is consumed or reacted. So what will be the remaining concentration, etc. That it may be like 5 minutes duration or after 10 minutes each. Then what we do, immediately when we mix the reactants, we withdraw certain amount of reactant mixture and we add some ice or cold water, ice cold water, so that the reaction is arrested or no more reaction takes place between the reactants. Then we titrate that with other solution to know about the concentration of the solution. And after each interval of time, like 10 minutes or 5 minutes, etc., we will do the practical like that, and we will take 6 to 10 readings, and the final reading we can take by heating the mixture. Because reaction will take a lot of time, to complete the reaction, we can heat the reactants and get the final reading. Means at the reading at infinity time, or the whole reactants are converted into product after completion of reaction. So in this way, we will find the concentration at different times, and then substituting the data in the equation of first order and in second order, etc., which are derived earlier. Means we will substitute those values for first order, then second order, and so on, so that we know about the which order the reaction is following. For example, for first order, it is K is equal to 2.303 by T log C0 by C, or K is equal to 2.303 by T log A by A minus X. A is initial concentration and A minus X is the concentration at time T. And for second order reaction, it is K is equal to 1 by T into 1 by A minus X minus 1 by A. Actually, 1 by A means 1 by C0, that is initial concentration, and 1 by A minus X is 1 by C, means concentration at time T. The equation which gives constant value of K, the velocity constant indicates the appropriate order of the reaction. When we substitute these values in different equations, we will see which the value of K is constant. Means we are getting the same value of K for all readings. That will show you that the reaction is following that order. If K is constant for first order, it will be first order reaction. Or if it is following second order, then we can say second order reaction. Or if the K value is constant for third, we can say it is third order reaction. The second method is graphical method. Now the value of X are plotted against T. Always when we plot a graph of concentration against time, we should get a straight line. Okay, a straight line. Then only that order of reaction will be confirmed. And concentration can be taken as dx by dt, change in concentration dx by dt at any time. And it is determined from the slope of the line. We get a straight line or curve or graph in the form of a straight line. Its slope will give you rate. Dx by dt is equal to slope, and slope is given by tan theta, or you can calculate by taking the difference in ratio of difference in coordinates, like delta E y by delta x. Means it is the ratio between the difference in y coordinate to difference in x coordinate, or y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1 will give you slope. Either we can calculate like that or by taking tan theta, where theta is the angle of line with x-axis. Now, the values of dx by dt are plotted against a minus x, or a minus x square, or a minus x cube, so that we get a straight line. So the plot of change in concentration with time and the change in concentration, that is a minus x whole square, like that, will again give a graph like a straight line. Again, the slope we can calculate because it is a straight line. If a straight line is obtained by plotting dx by dt versus a minus x, the reaction is of first order. Here we are taking concentration raised to the power 1 only. In second order, we will take the square of the concentration. Therefore, if a straight line is obtained by plotting against a minus x whole square, dx by dt against a minus x whole square, that is square of the concentration term, the reaction is of second order. If we get a straight line in, then it is called second order reaction. Whereas if a straight line is obtained by plotting dx by dt against a minus x whole cube, then it is called third order reaction. Or the graph can also be drawn like this. In first case, the first order reaction will give you a straight line when logarithm of change in concentration will be taken. Log a minus x is plotted versus t. Means on the y-axis we will take log x minus a, and on x-axis we will take t. On y, the concentration term, and on x, time. It will give you first order reaction if we get a straight line. And for second order, we will get a straight line when we plot a graph between 1 by a minus x versus t. Means on y-axis we will take 1 by a minus x, and on x-axis t. And for third order, we will get a straight line if we plot a graph between 1 by a minus x whole square versus t. That is, on y-axis we will take 1 by a minus x whole square, and on y-axis we take t. So we have to plot 3 graphs, and we have to see which one will give you a straight line, and then we can decide the reaction is following that order. So with this method, we have the difficulty that, and the third method is half-life method. You know that half-life period of a particular order of reaction is having a particular value. Means the value of T half, that is half-life period, is fixed for first order or second order or third order. So as discussed earlier, half-life period of a reaction, that is the time required to convert the original concentration or initial concentration of a reactant to its half, of different orders follow the following relationship. For first order, we had T half, that is half-life period, equal to 0.693 by K, where K is rate constant of first order. For second order, T half, that is half-life period, is 1 by K into A. Again, K is rate constant for second order reaction, and A is concentration or initial concentration of the reactant. And for third order, half-life period or T half is equal to 1 by K into A square, where K is rate constant of third order reaction, and A is the initial concentration of the reactant. So we can calculate the value of K, and we know the concentration, that is initial concentration. Then we can find the half-life period for that particular order. Then if it follows like that, then we can say that particular reaction follows that type of order. Here if you see in first order, it is independent of concentration. It is independent of concentration. So we can write T half is equal to constant That means if T half of a reaction is constant, then it is of first order. For second order type reaction, T half is equal to 1 by Ka. Or when we remove this constant, we will have a proportionality T half proportional to 1 by A. That means half-life period is inversely proportional to initial concentration of the reactant. If it is the case, then it is called second order reaction. And for third, we should have relationship like this. T half is equal to 1 by K square. Because it is a constant, we can convert it into proportionality expression like this. T half proportional to 1 by A square. So if it is like that, then it is called third order reaction. Thus, the half-life or any definite fraction of life period of a reaction is independent of initial concentration in the case of first order reaction. And we will get T half is equal to a constant. And in second case, it will be inversely proportional to the initial concentration, and it is the case of second order reaction. T half into A will be constant. Why? Because for this we have this one. If we send A to this, it will become half-life period into initial concentration, and here we get a constant 1 by K. So T half into initial concentration will give you constant value in the case of second order reaction. So if it confirms that, then we can say it is a second order reaction. And for final, third order reaction, it is like this. It inversely proportional to the square of initial concentration. What? Half-life period, T half is inversely proportional to the square of initial concentration, that is A square. And here we can say T half into square of initial concentration will be constant. A is initial concentration, T half is half-life period. If we multiply the square of initial concentration with half-life, it should be a constant. Then we can say it is a third order reaction. Now the same we can apply for nth order reaction. For an nth order reaction, half-life period into the concentration, initial concentration raised to the power n minus 1 should be equal to constant. Or in general, T half of a particular nth order is directly proportional to, inversely proportional to the concentration term raised to the power n minus 1. For nth order, T half is inversely proportional to the concentration term raised to the power n minus 1, where n is the order of reaction and Tf is the time required to complete definite fraction. Say, let it say it as half-life, T half of the reactants, and A is the initial concentration of the reactant. Now, there is one more method to find the order of reaction, called as Ostwald's isolation method. This method again is a lengthy one, in which we have to isolate one of the reactant of the two or more. Because in the beginning we saw there are three types of third order reaction. In first we have 3 molecules of A, in second 2 molecules of A and 1 molecule of B, and in third 1 molecules of A, B and C. If we have A, B and C, then we have to isolate either A or B or C by taking the other two in large quantity or in excess. For example, if A plus B plus C gives product, then we can isolate A by taking B and C in large quantity or in excess. If we want to isolate B, then we have to take A and C in excess or in large quantity. And if we want to isolate C, then we have to take A and B in excess or in large quantity. And then after isolation, we will see the order of reaction with respect to A or with respect to B or with respect to C. Then we will add the order with respect to A, B, and C to get the order of reaction. Then let us say N1 with the order of reaction with respect to A, or when when A is isolated, and N2 with respect to B, or when B is isolated, and N3 when C is isolated, or with respect to C. Then after finding the order of reaction with respect to A, B, and C by isolating them, we have to add them together. The sum of N1, N2, and 3, that means N1 plus N2 plus N3 will give you the total order of the reaction. This is called Ostwald's isolation method, in which every reactant will be isolated one by one, and we will find the order of reaction with respect to that reactant. Finally, we will add them to get the total order of reaction. So this was about third order reaction, and then how to find the order of reaction. In today's class, we discuss about order of reaction. Third order of reaction, for which we derive three different equations for K, that is rate constant, by taking three different situations, and then we discuss about the units of K and half-life period, etc. And then we switch over to different methods by which we can calculate or determine the rate of reaction. For example, experimental, then graphical, then half-life period, and fourth one was the Ostwald isolation method. With this, we will end today's lesson, and thank you for watching one and all. Thank you very much.